Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Friday, 27th September 2024. So let's look at the synoptic situation first. This was as of midnight last night. That terrible weather we had all day yesterday was lingering on into the evening. However, we are going to have a clearance later on today, and I'll show you that shortly. I think what's of more concern really is there's going to be very brisk northerlies. It's going to start getting very, very cold, and it's going to be a total change to what we're used to. Pressure down at 992, look, just to the north of us. So there's going to be a significant change in the weather patterns we've had of late. So running through to midday today, then the occlusion stroke cold front has passed through, leaving us in fairly brisk northerly airflow, and the wind's going to be quite strong. There's a bit of excitement about the ridge. I'm not 100% convinced it's going to be in the right direction for a lot of the ridge, but anyway, we'll suck it and see. Spot winds today are giving us about 340, 25 knots, and northerly a little bit further to the south. And the cloud cover at the moment as we can see it. So this is all clearly the occlusion stroke cold front that's slowly passing through. It's still early days. If I run that through to 8:45, you can see it still hasn't cleared here. But it's very, very clear behind it, clear and unstable behind it. It's the actual rain forecast at the moment. So for the next 2 hours, we're clearly going to be struggling with the rain. And if I run through the projected rain prediction for the day, here we are running through till around about, I reckon around about 10:30, 11 o'clock, it should clear here. And once it's cleared, we're then going to be left in this northerly airflow, as I mentioned earlier. And from then onwards, it looks fairly clear for the rest of the day. Some infill of showers you can see, which will build up naturally. I think we might be, it's going to be bad luck, I think, if we actually get hit by any. But once the front has gone through, we should be reasonably clear. Local forecast then is giving rain up until about 11 o'clock and then clear and a bit of sunshine once we've got rid of the cloud that's lingering behind that frontal system, and then fairly clear. But of note really is the winds are going to be northwesterly, and I've highlighted again the gusts up to 30 knots throughout the morning, and then maybe clearing about 5 o'clock onwards. So we are going to be need to be really cognizant about that, the wind gusts. Okay, GFS is giving its max temperature of only 11 degrees today, with the dew point down at 6. And if you look out the window at the moment, you can see we've got a very brisk northwesterly wind at the moment, and this top cover slowly thinning, but it's going to take a while till that's totally gone. So local forecast, I'm showing you the temperatures first, continually dropping now. Look at that, amazing, very steady drop as this front starts to arrive. And actually we got at the moment about 7.5 degrees with dew point down at 5.5, and a northwesterly winds gusting 16 at the moment. Okay, David indicating a possible southbound day. He's saying winds about 350 at 35 aloft and 350 at 25 on the ridge, and maybe after about 4 o'clock going around to about 340, 25 on the ridge. There'll be a bit more cloud obviously in clearing as the day goes on. So METARs for Odium, 11 knots from the northwest, broken clouds at 900, and light rain and drizzle, which is clearly what we've got. An incredibly long TAF, so I'll go on to Farnborough for that. So Farnborough got 10 knots northwest with light drizzle at the moment, but as we run through the day, they're talking broken clouds at 1,000, rain and showers, and between 7 and 10 o'clock today, 3,000 meters and heavy rain, and then after 12 o'clock local, visibility 8,000 meters, rain and showers, and that's obviously once that front has gone through. Okay, if I run the top meteo, significant weather. So this is as of 11 o'clock today. We've still got a lot of showers and low cloud. and this is now 12 o'clock local. So the rain is just starting to dissipate. You can see where the front is now out over the channel, and to go a little bit further then. So from about 1 o'clock local, I think that's going to be the sort of time you might want to consider getting a tow down to the ridge if that's what you want to do. They're still indicating rain, you notice, even later on. So water on the wings, wind not ideal for the ridge. Maybe you won't go down there. Sky sights, the point forecast is indicating low cloud initially. A lot of high and medium cloud until the front has gone through. Again, sky sight is indicating that's not going to be until around about 2 o'clock, actually, so a bit later than top meteo. And then once the front's gone through, cloud is going to rise clearly. Winds 346, 350 throughout the morning, and then once the front's gone through, yeah, there's no real change even when the front has gone through. But gusts of 28, 33 knots. Okay, no TAMs today, very, very small amounts. So we've got the usual Barton Stacey at 15. We've got Ash Ranges at 17. 18 is the usual Uphaven telephone change. 24 is Otmore live firing, and 25 is Western on the green. Right, so let's look at these, initially the cross section. So here's all the weather associated with that occlusion, stroke cold front, call it what you want. And that's going to go through around about 11:30, 12, and then it's going to progressively clear. We're going to have 330, 20, gusting 28 knots on the ground. Strong wind warning, Odium have got out for the day. But otherwise, once that front's gone through, it'll be reasonably clear. We have a departure today. The one that should have gone yesterday at 12 o'clock is now hopefully going at 2 o'clock today. So that's going to negate us being totally off the runway, and I'll mention that in a minute. So low cloud and rain first thing, the occlusion clearing midday. Brisk cold northerly wind post occluded front. It's going to be very cold out there, so make sure you dress for it. And it's going to be wet underfoot as well, so make sure you've got suitable shoes on there. Wind 330, 16, gusting 28 on the surface. The club is going to set up on 3-4. Terrible run, but we need to use it today. It'll be quite a limited operation, I think. Just 3 or 4 K21s probably. We can't air tow a large grid from down there. So any of the ridge air tows we'll do from the grass north. Please stay well away from the runway, because if we haven't gone, we don't want to have to try and move you again for the minimum clearance. And you need to watch out for wet areas on the airfield. I have driven over it this morning in the areas I think most people will be landing, and it did seem reasonable still. Okay, we've got 4 K21s available, 3 K13 still. 1 K21 is on the booking system with Bob Westlake. K21 is on Mike Birch's course. And Al Greensmith has asked for a K13. But Al, if you're listening to this, you might want to plug into a K21 perhaps for the day. There's plenty of single seat availability, but I don't think the weather's going to be much up for that. Any remaining K21s or K13s could be used for the casual list. Remind about the buggies as usual, and the simulator is serviceable and available. Right, booking list, say Bob Westlake, and he's got Ian Lashmar today, and otherwise most of the gliders are available. There's Al Greensmith with Fiona. I'd suggest you probably want a K21 Al with gusting 30 knots. And right, operationally today then. So we're going to be operating off runway 34 as the club operation. So that's right down the bottom south end of the airfield. Winch is going to be at the top end, and we'll be using the sidebar to bring the cables down the grass and running down the runway with the vehicle. You can land east or west of the runway, but most gliders will be landing along into the field. Caution, please, today with a strong northwesterly wind. It's very turbulent. There's a lot of sink to the south of the airfield, so please come in with plenty of height and land well into the field. We've got plenty of buggies for that. Any ridge tows we'll do off 27. We just have to accept the crosswind. Notice the ridge grid I've put a little bit further north, because we need to keep the minimum clearance away from the runway for the jet movement if and when it goes at 2 o'clock. And today I've put a little jet movement rectangle on there to remind people please to stay well clear of the runway. Okay, well, I think it's going to be a challenging day. It's going to be challenging even if you manage to get down to the ridge later, but nevertheless, we'll go flying, and Ron and I will see you out there shortly. Goodbye.